Hey there, Glitch. It's time to thwip. What's up, Thwippers Snappers? I'm AJ, and welcome to another Thwip Side action figure review. And today, I'm going to take a look at the Titans Connect the Build Beast Boy Wave minus this guy, Arsenal, because I reviewed him on my previous video. So if you want to check that out, I will put a link in the description of this video, or you can just look at the video before this one, and there he'll be. So to finish off the wave, we have Nightwing, Raven, Donna Troy, and the Connect the Build Beast Boy himself. Of course, the three standard figures all come with the DC base and their individual trading cards. So here you have Raven, and then you have Nightwing, and then you have Donna Troy, and of course they all have their bios on the back. Now we're going to kick things off with Nightwing. For accessories, he comes with squat besides the base and the trading card, which really sucks because the artwork clearly shows him with his Eskrima sticks, and all he has is fists and no sticks. So like many people, I have customization ideas for the future of this Nightwing figure. But for the figure himself, I don't mind the head sculpt. I think it looks okay. Little cocky grin. Maybe the hair is a little too long in front of the eyes, but not too bad. I think there's a little bit of, I can't tell, maybe a little bit of shading in the hair. And of course you just got his basic skin tight costume. The blues are really nice, sculpted on piece on the chest. And then you got the blue lines down the arm. And then you do get blue on some of his fingers for the gloves. And then blue around the soles of the feet. But besides that, not much to talk about. The blue in the back too. It is a Nightwing costume. Articulation wise, he's okay. He looks up that far, down that far. Some nice tilt, head rotation. He's got that socket with all sorts of movement in the bicep. We'll hold it so you can see bicep, double jointed elbows, wrists. He's got some tilt, the torso cut here, the waist cut here like usual. Can arc way back. Another disappointed thing, barely any forward, which stinks for a character like Nightwing. He is an acrobat, so it's a shame. Legs out that far. He does get some really nice twist at the hip and double jointed knees, and the ankles way forward, way back. Some nice pivot and toe. We'll move on to Donna Troy, and she does come with the sword, and it is a decent sculpt. Some nice lines etched in there in a light gray material. Shame is there's no paint or anything, so it comes off really plain looking. As for the rest of her, we'll take a look at her head sculpt, which is cool. She's got some nice shading under her eyes. She looks like she's in a really pissed off mood. And there's some shading in the hair as well, which shows up more than Nightwing's. So pretty cool. She's a warrior. She looks tough. Maybe a little, almost evil in a way, but hey, she's a warrior. Her costume's pretty cool. You got some lighter gray for her shoulders and her gauntlets. And then her suit's accented with some grays. It's all textured and sculpted in the black areas, coming down to the Amazon symbol. And then you got some gray stars on each side, which are also textured. And then back to that lighter gray for the boots. And again, some paint would have done this figure a lot of justice because it would have brought out the nice sculpt, especially in these light gray pieces. Because you can see some dings and nicks and stuff in them if you look really close. It's hard on my camera, but you just don't see it because there's no paint. So this figure could have definitely used some dry brushing or a wash to bring out those details. She articulates fairly nicely too, except for the head, because of course it can't really look up, but that's understandable. The hair obviously, but she looks down quite a bit. Get the sword out of the way. She can turn her head. It is a little stiff because of the hair. Arms go up like that. She does have a bicep. She does have a little one of those caps, but not as much movement. Double jointed elbows. And she's got a cut right here. So you get the twist with the waist. And some tilt. Let's see. Arc. Of course, it's going to arc really nicely back. I think better than Nightwing forward. But not the best, of course. Let's see what we got for hip. Nothing really at the hip, only a little. Kicks that far out, or splits that far out. Nice double jointed knees. Kicks up, kicks back, all that jazz. Ankle forward, ankle back. It's all supposed to be like a high heel type thing, but it's all sculpted as one thick piece so she can stand easier. You got the little toe joint and a little rocker. Checking out Raven next. She does come with these purple magic effects, which I think are nice. It's nice pink plastic. And what you do here is you pop her hand off, and then the magic effect plugs right into her little peg at her wrist. And then you have her wielding some magic effects. So I think that's a nice touch. It's pretty cool. I really like that. Get that back on. Okay, as for Raven herself, I really do think she came out looking pretty cool. I really like this design for Raven. Got nice head sculpt in there. Some reddish pinkish hair, I don't know. But I like the eyes. The skin tone. Just nice paint. Coming down over her cloak, obviously over her head. You got her little Raven symbol. I don't know what you call it. But yeah, just a really nice costume overall. You come down to the belt. Goes all the way around. And there is slight texture in the costume. Yeah, she just looks really cool. And then the back of her cloak is all really nicely textured. Yeah, so I really like this figure, how it came out. Articulation. Let's see. This cloak is actually not attached to this whole piece, so you can get some movement. You can get some nice rotation. She can look down better, and I thought she'd be able to, not up really at all because of the wrinkles of the cloak. And her arms, of course, go like that. She does have the little cap. Again, like Donna Troy, not much movement in there. Double jointed elbows. I'm always scared with these thinner ones. Not that they feel cheap, just thin. So I think they're easier to break, maybe. And of course, you get the hinge and the swivel at the wrist. Torso cut, so you can get some twist, a little bit of tilt, some arc back with the waist in conjunction with the waist swivels. So once again, you can arc back pretty nicely. But on Raven, she can crunch forward nicely as well, which is cool. Let's see, swivel at the hip, just a tad. Out that far, kick forward, kick back, double jointed knees, and of course, ankles forward, ankles back, and some pivot and some toe. And last but not least, we have the Connect to Build Beast Boy in a big, hulking, beefy form, which I absolutely love. I know people have complained that they would have rather have had a more traditional Beast Boy, but he does appear like this in the comics for some time. But I think he looks great. I think he just came out really cool. He doesn't come with any extra accessories. That's totally fine, but take a closer look. I love his head. Very ape-ish, the whole body. That's what it says to me. Some nice paint in the green hair to bring out more of the detail. I just love that face. And his whole costume is nice and textured. And then we've got some, let's see if we do his hairy arms here and here. And again, more paint. Something you didn't see on like Donna Troy. But yeah, I think he came out really cool. I love the clawed hand. And of course, this is a fist, but it has claws too. And then down to some more fur hair coming out of the bottom of his pants. Some nice clawed toes. Yeah, really cool figure. I think he looks awesome, and I'm not part of the complaining crowd because I think he came out pretty good. Articulation wise, you can't really get him to look up so much, but you can get him to look down really nicely. He's got, let me get him closer, some nice tilt, swivel. He's got those huge caps, but he gets all sorts of motion. Sometimes it gaps and you can see it, but he's got some nice range. It goes all over. He is really tight in a lot of joints, but you get the bicep. Single jointed elbow that goes up nice for a single joint and for a bigger character. Wrist swivels. It's on the hinge. Torso has the cut. Tilts. Waist has swivels. You can get a lot of tilt. Let's see. A lot of arc back. Not so much in the crunching area. Whoa, whoa. The legs do fall off, I find, on my copy easy when you put a lot of pressure. I was trying to kick them forward, and they don't really go forward too much. We'll do it one-legged, back not so much. So forward and back for the legs isn't that great. It goes out nicely. Double jointed knees that are really tight. Oh, see, he popped off. I have been having trouble, but anyway, moving on. Ankle goes that far, forward, toe, and some rocker. So now that Beast Boy is back together, he also does have some nice movement at the hip. And I also wanted to have a slight QC problem with Donna Troy. I don't know if I can get it on the camera because that light gray. But notice the pin. It seems to be set a little off. Like it's not coming through the hole all the way. It's pushing on the plastic. I don't know if I can get it. See right there. That could be a problem in the future. I'm not sure. But I wanted to point it out so you could check out your copy. See how this one comes through all the way. So bottom line for me, although I do feel that this is overall a really cool wave, I do have some gripes and disappointments. Number one being Nightwing. I think he is quite disappointing. Not having his Eskrima sticks, or at least alternate hands where he could hold another set of Eskrima sticks, is a letdown. I do like his head sculpt. I know a lot of people don't. They feel differently. But I like that cocky grin. And customization will be the order of the day when it comes to him. Donna Troy, I did have the QC issue. It's not broken or anything, but I'm a little nervous about it over time. And I will say in the articulation segment for her, I believe I said she articulates really nicely. That's not sort of really the case. I mean, she's fine as far as DC Multiverse figures go, but once again, it's the usual thing. The crunching, lacking the crunching, and her hair, and that's not really the fault of the figure itself or McFarlane Toys articulation scheme. It's just that it her hairstyle prevents any movement, but I can't say she articulates really well or allude to the fact that I think she articulates great. But that's the common thing with females. She's fine the way she's fine. But I just don't want to mislead anybody to think that she's this great posable figure. And like I said, didn't want to mislead anybody because that's not really cool. Raven, I really love Raven. She does articulate really nicely, even for having that cloak on. There's a lot more movement than I thought. And her crunching and arcing back, especially the crunch, is a lot nicer than what we get with a lot of DC Multiverse figures. So cool. Arsenal, I keep on wanting to say Red Arrow, same character, but still, I won't really say much about him, but I do love him because I already reviewed him by himself. And Beast Boy, I think, is awesome. He looks really fantastic. I did have the issue with his legs falling off. I will say they do fall off rather easily, but it's not like if you pick him up, his legs are going to fall off. Just when you pose him around, they might pop off. Just look out for that. My favorite in the wave is Arsenal, just because if you've seen my previous video with his review, he was a much needed character for me, and I think he came out really cool. Again, could use some paint, as is often the case with McFarlane figures for DC Multiverse. But yeah, he's my favorite, and then it's a toss-up actually between Raven and Beast Boy. I just really love those two. And then I'd go with Donna Troy and then Nightwing because of the gripes I've mentioned. So that will wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you did, please consider clicking that like button, clicking the subscribe button, and thwipping that notification bell, and I will catch you guys real soon right back here on the Thwip side. Later.